If you're completely over dropping a fortune on toxic bug sprays only to get chased back inside your own house the second the sun goes down, well, you are in the right place. Welcome to This Explanator. Today, we're unpacking a wildly popular piece of traditional Amish wisdom that literally reclaims your backyard for mosquitoes. We're going to break down the exact science and the step-by-step method to clear out these pests for the entire summer. And the best part? It'll run you about $17.
We've got to start with this amazing story from Elias Yoder, an Amish farmer who actually shared this method with the world. So Elias keeps 11 hives of honeybees, and his wife tends a half-acre of pollinator-dependent flowers. You'd think a working farm surrounded by nature would be mosquito central, right? But he hasn't been bitten by a mosquito at his own kitchen table in 9 years. No electric bug zappers, no chemical companies on retainer, zero spray trucks. Just a simple, completely brilliant biological trap that draws the female mosquito in and ensures every single egg she lays dies within 24 hours.
Now, there's a really stark difference between what Elias calls the English way and the Amish way. The traditional pest control approach, it's an absolute Goliath. We're talking up to $200 a month for a fog of chemicals that leaves your yard smelling like a high school chemistry lab. And worst of all, it wipes out vital honeybees right along with the mosquitoes. Contrast that with this natural David of a solution, a $17 DIY bucket system. It uses natural bacteria, it's 100% safe for bees, and it stops the problem right at the source.
Let's jump right into part 1, the standing water truth. To win this battle, we have to deeply understand mosquito biology. If you skip this foundational truth, nothing else is going to work. So here's the biggest myth we need to bust right now. Mosquitoes do not blow in on the wind from miles away. They aren't launching some coordinated attack from the deep woods. The harsh reality? Almost every single mosquito biting you in your backyard was actually born in your backyard. They breed in these tiny, completely overlooked pockets of standing water right on your property. And get a load of this number. 300. A single female mosquito can lay up to 300 eggs in one go. And she absolutely doesn't need a giant pond to do it. She can lay that massive generation of pests in less water than you can cup in your hand. I mean, a bottle cap of rainwater caught in the crease of an old folded tarp? That's enough. A clogged gutter holding half a cup of water? That is a massive breeding ground.
Which brings us to a crucial weekly practice Elias's grandfather called walking the line. Basically, every Saturday morning, grab an empty coffee can and walk your property to do what ag experts call source reduction. You're actively hunting and dumping out these hidden hatcheries. Turn over that wheelbarrow. Empty those little saucers under your potted geraniums. Clear the gutters. And please, get rid of old tires. Tires are literally the worst mosquito factories ever invented. Just 5 minutes a week of dumping water, that is half the battle won right there.
All right, let's move to part 2, building a counterfeit swamp. So what do we do with the water we can't eliminate? We create a targeted biological trap. Here is the exact blueprint. Step 1, grab a dark-colored 5-gallon bucket. Black, brown, or green works, just never white. And put it out of the way in the shade, away from your patio. Why? Because over millions of years, mosquitoes evolved to seek out dark, shaded, still pools. Step 2, fill it halfway with water and toss in a handful of grass clippings or dead leaves. As that stuff decays, it releases scents that scream to the mosquito, hey, this is the perfect, nutrient-rich place for your young. You are essentially building a counterfeit swamp. Finally, step 3, sprinkle 1 heaping spoonful of something called Mosquito Bits right on the surface of the water.
Now, those Mosquito Bits contain a magic ingredient, BTI. It stands for Bacillus thuringiensis israelensis. It's a mouthful, I know. But BTI is just a naturally occurring soil bacterium that was discovered in a desert pond back in 1977. It's not some harsh toxic chemical. It's a living organism that acts as an incredibly highly specific weapon against exactly one type of creature.
And this is exactly why this method is so incredibly safe. When the mosquito larvae hatch in your little counterfeit swamp and eat a particle of BTI, it triggers a very specific reaction. It only reacts to the highly specific alkaline gut chemistry of a mosquito larva. It basically eats a hole in its stomach and kills it within 24 hours. Because the gut chemistry of a honeybee, a butterfly, or, say, your dog is totally different, the bacteria just bounces off harmlessly.
BTI is unbelievably targeted. It literally only affects the pests, mosquito larvae, black fly larvae, and fungus gnat larvae. That is it. Meanwhile, all our backyard helpers and pets are totally fine. Honeybees, butterflies, frogs, songbirds, even your dog. If she wanders over and takes a drink from the bucket, she's completely safe. In fact, it's so thoroughly safe that states like Maryland and Pennsylvania actually drop it from airplanes over marshlands. You can protect your yard without wiping out the crucial pollinators your local ecosystem desperately relies on. For a normal-sized yard, you just set up 3 of these buckets around the perimeter of your property, completely drawing the enemy away from your house.
Okay, moving on to part 3, evicting the adult mosquitoes. So, you've handled the eggs and larvae with your buckets. But what about the adult mosquitoes that hatched last week and are currently looking to make a meal out of you on your porch? To evict them without resorting to toxic chemicals, we turn to concentrated plant compounds. Essential oils like cedarwood, rosemary, clove, garlic, lemongrass, and peppermint. These have been used all over the world for thousands of years as natural repellents. Just mix these oils into a simple hand-pump garden sprayer filled with water.
But listen up, because here is the critical mistake most people make. Do not just spray the open air. The oils will evaporate instantly, and you're just wasting your time and money. Mosquitoes don't fly around during the heat of the day. They hide out and rest in cool, shaded spots. You need to target those resting places. Spray the underside of leaves, the eaves of your porch, inside any wooden lattice, the back of your woodpile. And pay close attention to this absolute rule. Never spray blooming flowers. Even though the oils won't kill a bee, the strong scent will repel them. It tells your pollinators to go somewhere else, which is the exact opposite of what we want.
Finally, let's wrap up with part 4, a balanced backyard ecosystem. When you finally stop nuking your yard with broad-spectrum chemicals, the ecosystem starts working with you instead of against you. A classic staple on Amish farms is the purple martin birdhouse. Specifically, those tall T14 apartment-style models you'll see dotting the landscape in places like Ohio and Pennsylvania. Now, there's a bit of a myth that these birds eat thousands of mosquitoes a day. They actually prefer larger daytime insects, but they are incredible neighbors. They eat the bigger pests that destroy your garden, they fill the morning with song, and they represent a yard that is truly alive. A property teeming with songbirds, dragonflies, bats, and frogs is a property where mosquitoes simply cannot get a foothold.
And for those summer evenings out on the patio, you've got to try this brilliant traditional smudge pot method used by Elias's grandmother. Just take an old tin coffee can and punch a few air holes in the side. Drop on a small piece of lit charcoal and toss a handful of dried herbs straight from your kitchen cabinet, stuff like rosemary or sage, right on top. The gentle, sweet-smelling smoke effortlessly clears a 10-foot circle around your patio. It smells amazing, like a kitchen at Christmas, it costs pennies, and the smoke doesn't bother the honeybees at all because they're already safely asleep in their hives for the night.
We really have to remember the incredibly high stakes of all this. Mosquitoes aren't just annoying. They kill more human beings globally every single year than any other animal, spreading serious diseases like West Nile and malaria. It's a huge deal. But as Elias points out, our honeybee populations are collapsing. And a big part of that is because the chemicals we use to fight mosquitoes in suburban yards are indiscriminately killing the very pollinators that grow our food. You just cannot kill the pests without killing the helpers if you're using the wrong tool. So, here's my challenge to you. Are you going to skip that expensive toxic spray contract this year? Will you spend $17 on a tub of Mosquito Bits, grab a dark bucket, and dedicate just 1 hour of your weekend to walking the line and dumping out standing water? You have the blueprint. You understand the science. The only question is, what are you waiting for to take back your yard, protect the bees, and finally enjoy your summer evenings in peace?